Hey everybody, it's Paul from We Got Issues, and I'm down here at New York for the New York Comic Con, and I'm joined with Wayne Vansant. Wayne, how are you, sir?
Just fine.
So now I was really excited to walk by your booth to see actual historic comics. What inspired you to write history in comics?
It's like, I've always loved comics, but I've never cared about superheroes. I was the artist for the Nom for Marvel for about 5 years, and that kind of got me started, but I've always drawn that kind of thing for myself. I was particularly interested in World War II because my parents were from that generation, but I'm interested in all history, really, not just American history, but any history. And I just think it's a good tool to teach the subject.
Absolutely. It's a great visual way to kind of get the important events in our country out there. Is there any certain event that you're really kind of more drawn to the most, or are you just a fan of the whole thing?
The whole thing, but I'm working on this. Well, I have this graphic novel. It's the first of 3 graphic novels I'm going to do called Katusha. That's why I got the little sign up here and all that. It's about a Ukrainian girl in the Russian front in World War II. That's a different subject. Most Americans don't know much about that, but it's just so interesting and so huge. I mean, most of the big part of World War II was fought in Russia. That was the biggest campaign, what Winston Churchill called the First Front. And I've done a graphic novel about this girl, and the Red Army had like 800,000 women in combat roles. And I've been over there a number of times. I've talked to a lot of veterans. I've done a lot of research. So that's really what I'm trying to do now. But I'm doing other things too, like Dwight here, who's a writer, wrote this. I've known him for a long time. He wrote this book on the Vietnam War, and I illustrated it. And also we're working on one now about Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, and the end of slavery in America. So there's a lot of subjects that can be dealt with in this way, and I think it's a good way to teach people.
I totally agree, because I love history, love comics. So it's a good marriage of the two. What comics did you enjoy reading growing up?
Well, I liked the war comics, and Sergeant Rock and all that, you know. But I knew then they weren't really very realistically. There were a series that Sam Glanzman did for Dell Comics called Combat, where were basically documentaries of World War II, and they were real good. But I like Classics Illustrated and some of the other stuff. I always liked Turok, Son of Stone, when I was a kid. I liked that. But superheroes have never been my forte. I just mostly like war comics, the classics, some of the horror stuff, but not that much. But mostly historical things.
And do you have any advice for young artists and writers trying to get their foot in the door?
Well, the economy doesn't help right now, but there's opportunity if you really want to do it. There's a lot of small publishers. There's still people wanting to do that sort of thing, you know, to publish. And I think with graphic novels and with the internet, the electronic stuff, it's probably more available than it's ever been.
Sir, thank you so much for letting me interview you, and I'm really pumped to read some of the stuff here. Thanks so much. See you guys.